What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. Text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Emilio in Tennessee. We got Jacob in Wisconsin. Back to talk a little Packers. And I'm just going to tell you right now, that the pre-show conversation went off the rails real quick. And I'll just leave it at that. It always happens right when I look down and go, crap, we got to go live. And these two knuckleheads say something every single time. But, gentlemen, we have a good day today. We good to go?
Definitely.
Yes.
Ready for it.
Jacob said yes. Tell you what else we're ready for. Ready for everybody to slide over to Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since 92, specializing in Packers tickets. They are Wisconsin's largest ticket source with offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Just click on the link in the video description. It'll send you to theticketking.com where you can register for free as a customer and go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets. Again, that's Ticket King. Check them out at theticketking.com, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access. We appreciate them sponsoring the show. Emilio, I know you were catching up on some interviews and stuff like that. We're going to get into that a little bit. You actually sent me a quick clip from Move the Sticks with Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks talking about Jordan Love. We'll hit on that. And obviously, we're going to recap practice today as well. Jacob, do you have anything right off the bat, man, that's kind of at the forefront of your mind? Anything that you're like, man, I'd like to chat about this evening, or you pretty
Yes.
pretty clear? Yes. All right. Let's hear it.
Just real quick. I'm a big fan of the PFF podcast. I don't know if you guys really dabble in it. Sam Monson and God, I always forget his name. Big giant goon guy. He's awesome too. They announced today, right before I went on, that they are actually leaving PFF and they're bringing their same show over to the 33rd team.
Really?
Trevor Sikkema and I think another rotating group of hosts are going to take over their show. So it was cool. They all said, they've been with him for almost 18 years or whatever. Those guys are kind of one of the main dudes with Chris Collinsworth that kind of got the ball rolling with PFF. So I just have, if you guys are into, everything was very mutual and very cordial. So they're going to do shows up until the 21st. And then I think that up until the 21st is their last show. And then they start a new show called Check the Mic on the 33rd team, which is kind of cool that they're integrating that. But listening to them today, they had a podcast where they were talking about breaking down quarterbacks and whether or not they were more of it was either a magician or a machine, meaning you're either more of like a guy that can pull stuff out of his butt and make stuff happen, a little bit more like I would say more of a Mahomesian type player, or if you're more of a kind of pocket passer, I don't want to say that, but a guy that plays in the system. I don't know who you'd maybe say was more of that type of protocol, like a Kirk Cousins, something like that. And they said that Jordan Love was kind of the perfect mix of the two. And I thought and they said that as the season progressed, that he became more of a machine quarterback, which was more intriguing than him because he has all the intangibles. That was they talked about when he came out of college, he was this kind of crazy gunslinger that was an unmolded ball of clay that could be crazy high ceiling, but could also be high volatility. And it was cool just the fact that they thought about that and then they also compared it to the fact that Jordan Love's career basically mimicked Josh Allen's, but Josh Allen's took 3 years. Jordan Love took 18 games to basically start off being a little bit wild, a little bit junk, a little bit inaccurate. And by mid, like they just talked about, it's MVP caliber type mid-season. So I just thought that was a really cool thing. Plus
that's awesome. And I remember when Josh Allen busted into the league, it was like, hey, this guy, I think he had a sub 60% completion percentage. And many people were like, that's something, it's hard to fix that. You can't expect that to get much better. And lo and behold, he did. With Jordan Love last year, obviously, first half of the season, his accuracy was cheeks. And now the big talk of camp, and obviously the second half of the season, they're like, this dude is deadly accurate, and more specifically on the run, right? Just really cool to see him kind of grow into his own there for sure. But
and it's kind of the same thing with DJ and Buck. I don't know if they mentioned it in this clip, but it's is he a truck or a trailer? And is he? Does he carry everybody else around, or is he the one that has to latch on to somebody else to get him there? And same idea. I love those analogies.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that analogy too, or that little saying he has, a truck or trailer. And what he's talking about is is he a truck? Is he someone that he's going to pull the entire team behind him, right? You guys go as I go, or is he a trailer where it's, all right, yeah, I'm not going to screw this up, but I'm going to kind of carry the load. You guys are pulling, and I'm just going to kind of be here along for the ride. And there's been some great quarterbacks that's or maybe not even great, but just good quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls like that. Now, it's been few and far between, and most of them were a long time ago. The first person that comes to mind is Phil Simms. Phil Simms, when he won Super Bowl with the Giants, they had an absolutely unbelievable defense, but he was good. He was a good quarterback. There's no two ways about it. Who was it down in Tampa? I always forget his name.
Trent Dilfer.
Trent Dilfer's another one, right? And then in Baltimore, the year they won the Super Bowl, who was the quarterback that year? Do you guys remember? It was 2000.
Joe Flacco, baby.
No. Before that, you're right. But
don't know what to say.
It was like the year that Ray Lewis won his first Super Bowl. Who was the quarterback there? I'm trying to think.
That wasn't Flacco?
No, this was like 2000. So
are you sure?
Let's go. Flacco's 110. It may be. I don't know. Let me double check.
Joe Flacco's he was the oldest quarterback in the league. Gosh, who would it have been?
But while he looks that up, according to your analogy, Jacob, would that mean that Jordan Love is like a box truck? He's got the truck ability, but he can still carry, just the entire team in the back, or maybe one of those mowing box trucks.
Shavink says Dilfer was the quarterback in 2000.
Ooh, got it. It was Dilfer. Dilfer was the one who won a Super Bowl with Baltimore. So who won the Super Bowl? Who was the quarterback that won the Super Bowl in Tampa? Because it wasn't Dilfer. Couldn't have been, right? He doesn't have two. Surely Dilfer doesn't have 2 Super Bowls.
I feel like this is all wrong. I thought he got the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay.
Jacob, are you in a simulation?
I don't know, man. What did you just ask me, though, Emilio? Sorry.
No,
it was Brad Johnson. It was Brad Johnson.
Brad Johnson. That's what I was thinking. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I have no idea. I mean, I was probably like 6.
This was right around 2003, 2004. I had my Sirius boombox, right, where you had to pop that thing in the front face. Nice. I'm listening to Sirius NFL radio late one night, and it was Keyshawn Johnson and someone else on this. I called in, talked to him, right. They said, "Let's go to Clayton on the line." Right? I wish I could find a recording.
Could you imagine?
Oh my God! So the question I asked him before I get to the question, the question I asked him, I'll just go ahead and say it, was, "Who was your favorite quarterback to play with?" And he said, hands down, Brad Johnson. And that kind of surprised me. I'm like, dang, that's crazy. But he said before I got a chance to ask my question, guess what he said? Clayton Bigsby, the black-white supremacist. That's what he said. I was like, no way, Keyshawn Nixon didn't just call me Clayton Bigsby.
Keyshawn Johnson.
Absolutely awesome. So
wow, that's hilarious.
Yeah, dude, that's when I fell in love with the NFL. That Sirius NFL radio, man, it was just. I believe the last time I had Sirius NFL radio probably would have been around 2011, something like that. But I'm telling you, it's where I really started to want to dive into the X's and O's, mainly because of Pat Kerwin and Tim Ryan. But anyway, so Emilio, you sent over a quick clip from Move the Sticks. This is Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks. Sorry, Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks, both former scouts in the NFL. Obviously, DJ played quarterback at Appy State. Bucky Brooks played DB at Green Bay for, I think, a year or two, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But these are guys that see the game. They view the game through a scout's eyes, right? So they're
still calling games. Bucky's calling for Jacksonville, and DJ's calling for the Chargers, and during the preseason game. And they're the color commentators, not play by play. So they got to know everybody's name inside and out on the 90-man roster.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing too is, like, Daniel Jeremiah is NFL Network's go-to NFL draft expert, right?
Yeah.
He basically stepped into that role when Mike Mayock went to the Raiders. But anyway, let's get to this real quick.
This is Bucky's kind of report of the 6 quarterbacks that got paid and kind of what they did for their team coming out.
Got it. So just a quick description, right? So they're going to talk specifically Jordan Love. Here we go. This is Move the Sticks with Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks.
List here. Here we go. Jordan Love from the Green Bay Packers. Why he's worth it. Look, he played at an MVP level last year. Why is risky? 1 year wonder. So when we think about why he's worth it, DJ, he had a stretch where he had 21 touchdowns and only 1 interception. From week 11 through the wildcard round, he was absolutely on fire. He did it with a cast of no names around him, a bunch of young, emerging receivers, but no one that's established in the league. From all of the wide receivers on the outside to the two-head, the tandem at tight end, all young guys, all scratching and clawing to do it. For a quarterback to be able to do that with so many young pieces around him speaks volumes about who he is and what he is. That said, he did it for half a season. So we're paying him $55 million based on 7-8 games of work where we saw him at his best. In this league, quarterbacks are evaluated on how they counter the counters, meaning when the league gets a book on them, are they able to write new chapters to the book to deal with how the league is going to react to him this year after really studying his game? It's risky because it's unknown. We don't know how he's done it because we've never seen him have to adapt and adjust to the way new defensive coordinators will implement new game plans. That's the risk involved. But look, the talent is there. It took him 4 years to get to the field, but man, he certainly proved the Packers right when he got onto the field because he played great.
Yeah, I would say I like him. I believe in him. I was just hopeful, at least from the team side of things, that they'd be able to get just maybe a little bit of a discount with having such a small sample size. That's a big bet. Like I'm happy betting on him because of what we saw last year. It was impressive, but because of the sample size, I didn't think they'd have to go to the tippy top of the market. That to me was maybe just a surprise there.
Huge surprise. I mean, it's a huge surprise. But then we always talk about it. If not him, who? If you don't pick Jordan Love, who's the next one? And so they had to do it. But the risk is, can he get back to the level that we saw him at his best? And can he sustain it over the long haul? Yeah. In Green Bay, where you've had 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks play back-to-back. Brett Favre handed off to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers now hands it off to Jordan Love. Can Jordan Love play at a gold jacket level? That is TBD.
Yeah, no doubt. All
right, Emilio, you got the floor, sir. What did you take away from it? A lot of good points there.
I mean, great point. You know, who else would we have paid? I love Sean Clifford, and we can talk about his interview in a minute, but that's the truth. I mean, we have Jordan Love. We invested in him. He's had 4 years to get on there, and he showed out in the second half. But we had to commit to something. And I think a lot of his, off the field actions and, his mannerisms and all that stuff, I think that helps in their decision-making process. They weren't afraid to bring him in long-term because of how he carries himself. So, worth it definitely. But you go through the rest of those. I mean, they're talking about, Trevor Lawrence is the next one that comes up, and they're talking about how he's the person that's turned the ball over most since he's came in the league. So, like, we're worried about, is it half a season, or are we worried about him turning the ball over all the time, ups and downs? He just, Trevor Lawrence came off the injury last year. So just a bunch of different things that everyone's going through with Tua. Is he he's perfect for that fit of an offense. How would he do in a different offense? All those things. And I think we honestly had the best scenario out of all of them. I'm just happy they pulled through.
Definitely. The big thing for me is what they said, like, what else are you going to do? I mean, if you decide, okay, we're not going to re-sign Jordan Love, what's your answer at quarterback? You're going to start all over in the draft process, right? And I think he showed enough to listen. I'm not going to sit here and say he showed enough to warrant being the highest paid quarterback, but that's what the market was, and you got to make that decision of, hey, look, are we signing him or not? Jacob, what do you think about that little grab there from the scouts?
Well, I think it's easy to kind of get lost in the numbers and think like, did we really have to pay him that much? I think we did, because, like, as you guys just mentioned, who else do we have? Don't get me wrong, I like Clifford in certain aspects as maybe like a relief role or coming in at the end of the game. I like what the possibility of what Pratt shows. I think that he maybe has more raw talent and raw just ability than even Clifford. But I don't think either one of them I would trust. God forbid anything happens to Love, that pretty much means our season's already tanked unless we do some crazy trade or we get Joe Flacco to come out of retirement or something like that. But I think that it's unfair to, again, look back and say, well, we only have half a season. But it's like, no, you have the full season. You saw him progress. You saw him as a team with the youngest wide receivers, blah, blah, blah. We've already said this 1,000 times. And now you've seen what he's done in the offseason. You see how he handled the adversity, how he handled the media, how he never made any drama about it, how he came to practice every day, how he didn't complain. He didn't, moan. He showed like he was a professional. He's handling that while he's doing like really major milestones in his personal life. So he shows you that he has his stuff together. That's a major thing. You're not signing Johnny Manziel. You're not signing even like a Baker Mayfield in his early years. You're not signing somebody, a Deshaun Watson. You know that your guy's stable. He's dedicated his mind and his work ethic and his off season and his body to his craft. So to me, pay the dude. And we talked about it. That salary is a little bit deceiving. He's the highest paid, but it's definitely not like a budget burster.
Right. And the last thing to that is the new chapters thing. I really like that point because they now have a whole half season on he cooked us with this. We stopped the beginning of the season with this. What is this new season going to be like and how is he going to respond? I am really excited about that. And like Matt said, for the game, if we can get them out there and they score in one play and the defense, gets an interception on one play, perfect. Let's take them out and get out there. But he was joking. He's just like, we just need a good effort, play fast, physical. And I think I'm ready to see number 10 out there again.
Yeah, definitely. We got a bunch of people following in here. If you would, take a quick second, hit that like button for us. Feel free to sub to the channel. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us here on this glorious Thursday evening. We got preseason football going on right now. The Giants are beating the Lions 7-3 with 7 minutes left in the second quarter. So obviously some bad football being played right now all across the league, no matter what game you watch. But a lot of people on the field that you don't know their names. But, man, football's back. That's all I care about. I just need it in the background. You know what I'm saying? So let's go to the chat real quick. Prince in the chat says Emilio and Jacob competing to give us seizures with their shirts tonight.
We didn't plan that.
Yeah, AFAM says Emilio and Jacob coordinated outfits today. So Chris Ian says brats boiled in Pabst Blue Ribbon with onions and green peppers is fire.
PBRs, huh?
Oh, why y'all got to do this to me? My favorite thing is brats or Nathan hot dogs in Miller High Life in the oven, slow cook. Just let them swell up with that beer, boy, and then throw them on the grill and get them charred just a touch.
Yep.
Man.
Yep.
About 900 calories later. And
Clayton, are you a sauerkraut guy?
I like sauerkraut. Yeah.
I love sauerkraut.
I don't have to have it, but I do like it. Yeah. Yeah.
I have to.
We had a lot of Reubens growing up. So, my dad was a big.
I'll take some. How about some taco meat, Clayton? We talked about this.
Of course, you go to taco meat.
Dude, have you ever put taco meat on a hot dog? Come on, Jake.
On a hot dog?
Yeah,
you can put taco meat on a chocolate cake and it'd be good, man.
So you're talking like a chili dog.
Yeah, but homemade. You make your taco meat separate and you make your hot dog separate and you put it together. Come on now.
This show sucks so bad. Omer in the chat said the interception machine got a couple more today. Again, almost 20, I think now. So
I
far.
thought I heard it was more like 30.
So who's he talking about? Sean Clifford?
No, just for the defense in general.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I swore
that I was not trying to take a shot at Sean Clifford.
I heard he's been spending it better after they were saying that after he got out of the ones way for a minute there, he got back to the twos. He was ready to spend
today, it. Didn't he speak today, man?
Yeah, he had
what did he have to say, man?
He was just talking about how he felt better after he got out there after family night.
Did you read the chat?
Yeah, yep, and that he's honestly super excited to get out there and get the first win for the Packers. Right? He's excited about the whiteout game. He's been undefeated in Penn State whiteout games. So bringing that to Green Bay, I like that. He said he's going to absolutely bring the energy. And then they were kind of talking about, like spots and stuff for family members and them going out there. And I don't think he's ever actually played in the Brown Stadium, but that was about it. I love his energy, man. That dude is an absolute, like if I had a locker next to him, we would be absolutely best friends. You know what I mean? Like that guy is someone you're going to talk to every day when you come into the locker room. So I'm just excited for him to get some reps. And Matt was saying he's probably going to play, more than Pratt, definitely, but we just don't know how much the numbers are yet.
Yeah. We got breaking news too. Chris Ian says Emilio might be Mexican.
Whoa.
That is possible. We don't know for sure. We're waiting on the DNA, but yeah. So this is pretty cool. Another comparable quarterback, Omer points out, Jim McMahon. Remember Jim McMahon for the Bears? Same thing, right? Played good enough to win a Super Bowl, albeit that defense was legendary. I seen a picture for the first time. I think it was yesterday or the day before. I had never seen this picture. When the Packers won the Super Bowl and they went to the White House, Jim McMahon was obviously the backup quarterback to Favre, right? Did you guys know that he wore his Chicago Bears jersey to the White House? Look in the back.
Oh, wow.
I had no clue about that. So you didn't know either, Jake?
I didn't realize that ever. No.
What the ultimate troll job, man.
Jeez.
Just wild. Absolutely wild. So anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. Had to grab that real quick when he mentioned him. So Mike Berry said McMahon has 2, one with Green Bay. That's correct there. So he won the 85, the Super Bowl in the 85 season, then obviously 96 with the Packers. Chris N says Daniel had a point about a little discount should have been, talking about with Jordan Love. Here's the thing. They missed their window on that discount. The whole discount, it goes both ways, right? Like if you go to, that's why I'm saying about Christian Watson and or Romeo Dobbs, go to them 2 years early and go, hey, look, let's work something out here, right? You're meeting them halfway. If they had went to Jordan, let's say in May, and gave him Jared Goff's contract, he probably would have signed it, I would imagine. Could be wrong. He may have been playing complete hardball. You know, we're just kind of playing devil's advocate here, but I understand what you're saying too, Chris. The real cool thing though was the guaranteed money. Like that's what's going to allow the Packers to manipulate the cap. When we say cash over cap, it's exactly what we're talking about. If you've got the cash to pay up front, then you can manipulate the cap however you want. You're trading cash for cap allocation, for cap freedom, if you will. Mm-hmm. These teams that don't have a whole lot of cash to work with up front, what they're going to try to do is work that out to where it's going to be allocated in a different manner. Therefore, the cap hits are going to be a little less maneuverable, I guess is the best way to say it. So that's what we're talking about when we say cash over cap. Ben Holden says, Franksville sauerkraut, capital of 3 world beer brats.
D-World. We've got some D-World.
D-World.
Ben Holden says McMahon was a D-bag. I think we would all agree with that. And Blake B says McMahon's a cannabis farmer now. So
those two comments just fit right together.
Blake B sponsored, or I'm sorry, Jim McMahon sponsored the show. All right, we'll get in here. I'll tell you, one of the funniest ad reads I've ever heard was Homer on the Homer Hour advertising for cannabis. Like this dude he is so old, right? He's been covering, I think he's been covering the Packers since like the 80s, or he's at least been in sports talk since the 80s. And to hear him just do a plug on some kind of cannabis store I was just like, this does not fit. He's got a podcast called God Talk, right? So he's like very, it blew me away when I heard that. So anyway, y'all got to stop posting in the private chat, man. I'm sorry. Every time I see the private chat pop up, I think, oh no, they have arrived, but they haven't. So.
They're here.
All right. Anything else you guys want to hit on before we jump into practice here?
Kenny is excited for the young guys. Said Ford's been taking steps, been getting in the backfield, having some pass breakups, and that all of them have gotten better. So it's just going to be cool to see them playing Hafley's speed defense, fast physical. And I know that clip was going around earlier, him just setting up for the DBs, and I just can't wait to see it all come together. I mean, we've been talking about this since February, so. It's time, good time coming.
Yeah, so this is the clip that Emilio was talking about with Hafley actually hands-on working with the DBs. Let's see if we can hear a little bit of it.
Push off that foot. Yeah, there you go. Yep. All right. Good. And push off the right foot. Push off the right foot. Push off that foot. So if he doubles you up again, you come there. Admired my feet, all right? Good. Here we go. Right left.
So obviously, you never seen a clip of Joe Barry doing that, right? Mm-hmm. When Jeff Hafley was hired, you heard people like Richard Sherman and several other DBs that played for him talking about he's the DB whisperer, right? He's that dude that they're. And Terrell Buckley earlier this offseason talked on a podcast about. He's going to get down in there and work hands-on with the defensive backs. That's his trade. That's what he does. Joe Barry was a linebackers coach. He's not going to get out there and show a DB how to play technique, right? So it's definitely what I expect to happen with this defense is the DB play to amp up a touch. Now, I would love to have seen what Jeff Hafley was able to do with the DB group we had last year. I think it would have been much more challenging. You go out And it looks like he drafted a couple studs. It's early in camp, but it's looking like Evan Williams and Javon Bullard are legit. You sign, arguably the best safety in free agency this year in Xavier McKinney. So you already got Jair Alexander, who's already proven he can be a top 5, top 3, maybe even the best corner in the league when he's at the top of his game. You got Eric Stokes, who we read the article off. I think he's one of, if not the fastest clocked cornerbacks in the entire NFL if he does heal from that injury properly. You're seeing him work on press technique right there. I'm excited about Jeff Hafley, man. I'm excited to see what he can do with this group for sure. Anything else stick out to you? Here's another angle here I'll try to pull up here. But what do you guys think? Jacob, what do you think about Hafley here as far as him bringing that different approach? And, again, this tweet comes out from Kyle Malzahn. Really, really cool angle here, the same thing.
I mean, I love it. I think there's a difference that you can kind of – I don't want to say it's palpable, but you can tell that it seems like a lot more hands-on coaching approach this year. Guys that are getting like your Ansleys, your obviously Hafley, and people just absolutely screaming at the top of their lungs. And I like that, like you just said, that Hafley's actually getting in there, showing footwork, showing technique, like really getting in and actually being like, no, you're doing it wrong. And he's a young enough guy. He's spry enough that it doesn't look ridiculous. It doesn't look like,
Not
like
out there back.
I was going to say that. Yeah. Mike McCarthy, or like, oh God, who was the old Jets coach that was so funny?
Rex Ryan.
Like a Rex Ryan going out there and be like, here's how you do your 5-foot drop. It's like, I don't really believe that. But I just think it's great. And I think that there is more of a respect from the players when you see your coach getting in there, like, oh man, this dude knows what he's talking about. And he's not 600 pounds, and he's not 57 years old or 80 years old. He's been there. He's shown it. I think maybe that's what, remember when Richard Sherman was giving him such high praise, this kind of type of coaching. And his whole thing with Hafley was simplification so that they play fast, and that he wants to be more of a teacher than a coach. And I think we've seen it implement. So it's not just talk. You can see it in this craft.
There's going to be less rules involved in the coverage too, I believe, Emilio. There's going to be less match. Like there was a ton of different variations with that quarters look, that pre-snap shell, and all the different match combinations, if and then, like Coach Haddad talked about here on the show. So I think that's what they mean by playing fast there. That in the pre-snap alignment, they're going to sugar less, I believe.
Yeah, and I like that, first off, he's working with Stokes. We really want you to get this, plant press off, and then he comes in, he's messing with Ja. It's like you're working with each different person that you have to, approach him differently. We're getting Stokes better. He's joking with Ja about his footwork. Rochelle, he's in there. I think that's who he screams at about, you need to be in your actual stance that you're in, during a game. Like we can't be halving it, right? So that's, I really am, just excited to see it all come together.
Professor Cake's in the chat. Jacob couldn't wait to mark this one. Turns out we did get ourselves a white cornerback this offseason. He just coaches the defense.
I did. Uh-oh. Here comes trouble.
That's a nice clean one.
All right, that's a wrap, guys. We'll see y'all
the
tomorrow.
new helmet he's got on there. You see that?
Do you see the new, look, it's Tony Montana with the white helmet in front of him. Oh, okay. Here comes the bad guy.
Please don't get us canceled, Eric. Please don't get us canceled. That's all I ask, man. Let's see here. So let's move on to practice. You guys good with that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Injury update going into today. Andy Herman tweeted out new players out today was Tyron Hopper and Elton Jenkins. That was just a rest day for Elton. Returning from injury was Jaden Reed, although it ended up being limited with that calf injury. He wasn't with the team drills, but he was at practice today, if that makes sense. He was participating. Still out, Dimitri Stanley, Carrington Valentine, Deslin Alexander, Keyshawn Banks, Edgerrin Cooper, Donovan Jennings, Jordan Morgan. Boys, I hate to be a negative Nancy here, but it kind of feels like Jordan Morgan's falling behind here, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, just in general, it seems like all of a sudden the injury bug went from nothing to – that's a little bit of a list there that I would rather be quite shorter. And – a few of those are at actual, like Valentine. I want him back in the mix. I want Cooper back in the mix. Jennings, I'd love to be in the competition for that swing tackle. And obviously, we know what we're missing with Jordan Morgan. And it did worry me a little bit because Matt LaFleur did one of those things where it's like it's going to be out a week or so. We've that or so could mean a lot of things, as we've learned in the Packers offensive line. Let's say the last 2-3 years. So I'm a little bit nervous about it. That's my biggest fear/worry of this team by far, hands down, is the offensive line. So I just hope that it doesn't catalyst or become more of an issue.
I just immediately was like, I wonder if Junior Colson's missing any time, right? Because that was my top linebacker in the draft on my board. I just combed through. The first thing that popped up, this was July 24th. He had his appendix removed.
Oh,
and trying to see if there's anything late here. 1 hour ago, working off to the side, Junior Colson. So he's kind of in the same position as like a Jaden Reed. He's at practice working off to the side, but not with teams. So it sounds like he's been battling some injuries as well there, just to kind of, again, this isn't to go, oh man, we got the wrong linebacker. I'm not saying that at all. It's just for draft purposes and prepping for the next draft. I like to kind of keep our finger on the pulse of who were we real high on and how did they end up, panning out for that team.
I'm not worried about Morgan being out because I cannot wait to see my boy Glover in there to tear it up, man. Absolutely.
How disappointed are you going to be when we get through preseason week 3 and he hasn't played a snap? Anyway, Andy Herman tweeted out, no long-term concern with Jaden Reed per Matt LaFleur. No pads today, but Jaden Reed is out here practicing. So it sounds like nothing long-term. He'll be good to go soon, all right? So here were the starters in the walkthrough. Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, Tucker Kraft, Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs, Bo Melton. So you're in 11 personnel. The offensive line was Rasheed Walker, Royce Newman at left guard, Josh Myers at center, Sean Ryan at right guard, Zach Tom at right tackle. Obviously, Elton Jenkins had the rest day, and you're seeing Royce Newman at left guard. Kind of interesting that they're going to continue to kind of plug and play him at left guard when they need him. It sounds to me like Sean Ryan is leading for the backup guard spot on both sides, kind of the swing guard, right? And Royce Newman is behind him. Now, there's a good chance Royce Newman makes the roster. I think there's a shot of that. But it sounds like Sean Ryan's got that backup guard spot locked in, although he did have a little bit of a rough day today. We'll talk about it in a second. But as far as the offensive side of the ball, Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, there you got Tucker Kraft starting over Musgrave, at least through this walkthrough here. Jaden Reed, Dobbs, Melton, and then, of course, the offensive line. What do you guys think about that starting offense there in 11 personnel?
Not a problem. I mean, like to see. I know we're rotating Kraft, Musgrave, and then all the wide receivers. It's just a pick of the litter. I'm happy that Bo's getting his shot, and we're just going to make do with the line that we have out there. As long as they keep, Love upright for his 1 or 2, drives, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, the thing that sticks out to me, Jacob, family night, they said Dontavian Wicks only got 6 snaps. And here you're not seeing him the walkthrough. But when you're doing the team drills, it's like he's dominating. He's the guy that Love seems to be looking for, right? Do you guys think there's a chance, and I could be completely speaking out of turn here, but do you think there's a chance that Dontavian Wicks has shown them so much, it's like, hey, look, we don't, let's just back off at a touch.
Slow down.
Yeah. Or maybe, the fact that Family Night was literally broadcast all over the globe on Packers.com. Do you think they're trying to hold back there a little bit, or do you guys think I'm being silly with that? Jacob.
I could see that argument. It's just that, there's so many articles about him. There's so many people that were high on him towards the end of the year last year that I think I do understand what you're saying, because in a way, that's the only way I can justify. Or it's that maybe we don't have to read into it as far as that conspiratorial part. Maybe it's because they know he's so good. They want to give Melton more reps. They want to give guys like DeBose more reps and more of that kind of stuff. But I could see it where they're kind of holding, the Packers are like that. They're very vanilla throughout all their preseason. They don't like to show their looks. They don't like to show their sets and all that kind of stuff. I could see it being a case. I think there could be more of an argument that they're just trying to get better looks at the other guys that they're not maybe as comfortable in. But that being said, I mean, Reed and Dobbs are out there, so they know what they got in him. They know what they got in Watson.
Eric Sutherland says, I think you're high, Clayton.
Stay off the damn weed.
Thank you, Eric. Good to see you in here, partner. What do you think, Emilio?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, you do look high.
It really is. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, put him out there. Don't if we're scared about. I mean, no other team's going to take him, right? Either way, he's going to be on the roster. He's going to make the cut. It's not like he's not going to slip to the practice squad. So I mean, if the dude's ready to play, put him out there. I guess it depends on what team we're playing. You know, if we're going to be rotating 11 a lot, if we're going to be 12, 21 maybe, we'll see.
Yeah, and this is Chris N. These are the type of things that go through my mind. And again, we're not trying to start rumors here, but Chris N immediately says maybe he pissed off LaFleur. Could be, right? I mean, who knows? Now, Jake in here, Jake's about to get kicked out of the chat. He said Wicks and the 2 for IU.
Get out of here, Jake.
We are not paying IU $32 million, Jake.
Get the Greta. Get the Greta. Come
Smitty
on.
said it best. Smitty said Jake Shavink. It's
How
always
dare
that
you.
podcast. Hit him one more time.
How dare you?
Yeah.
I didn't hit it twice because I didn't want to be the rookie that looped it because Tim's not here. All right.
Who's Tim? Oh, Tim. I forgot.
Wow, Jacob.
I got to hit you with one now. Let's hit Jacob with his favorite.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah. Eric Sutherland says, Jake, no, quit it, please. Yes, please. Here we go. Jake Shavink, $30 million for an elite wide receiver sounds good. No, it does not, sir. No, it does not.
How'd that work out for the Raiders?
Take that Kirby down the street, Jake. We ain't buying it, bub. Ain't happening. Eric Sutherland said, I'm high. And he said, Jake must be drinking. So there you go. All right. Jake doubling down. All right. Jake knows how to get interaction up. Look, we just jumped to 200 viewers. That's how it happens. Jake gets in here and says something outrageous. Absolutely outrageous.
Special.
All right, defense. Calm down, everyone. No need to give Jake the Chinatown special. I don't even know what that means. What does that mean, guys?
I don't know.
I don't want to know.
I know it's bad.
All right, so defense. You got Preston Smith, TJ Slayton once again, Kenny Clark, and Rashawn Gary. It's starting to feel like TJ Slayton might.
Boy, I'm telling you.
He's a dog.
It's every day.
I even had Ryan this morning. I don't know if you got to listen to his podcast. He was like, dang it. He's like, I'm going to have to. He's like, everybody knows I've been the no Slayton guy for like 3 years. He's like, I'm going to have to change. He's like, I don't want to change. He's like, this is my thing. He's like, everybody knows it. He's like, everybody knows that I'm the. It was just, I could tell. I have all the high hopes in the world. Apparently, he's moving like crazy well for how big he is, and he's making plays in the passing game as well as the rush game. I mean, I'm excited, man. I'm excited as all get out because I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews. I've heard some people say our D-line's looking great. I've heard other people say our D-line is not looking good at all. I'm glad we have multiple people that are in the rotation that I personally feel wonderful about.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've been going up against, other Packers players for months now, that it is about time that they can hit another colored, jersey. So that's a real test. How do they perform when they can go, full tilt?
This chat, I can't do it. Linebackers. So this was obviously their nickel set, right? Their nickel 4-2-5. Isaiah McDuffie and Quay Walker starting linebackers there. McDuffie kind of, to me, it feels like McDuffie is going to be that starter in the nickel next to Quay. Eric Wilson will be that third linebacker in the base, unless Edgerrin Cooper gets healthy and just.
Are you mad about that? Are you worried about that or anything?
I feel like Isaiah McDuffie was our best linebacker last year. And listen, I caught healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, I felt like he was the best linebacker for the second half of the season. And I'm talking about Quay too. Like, I felt like McDuffie played better than Quay, and PFF seemed to agree. But I'm telling you, man, I got raked over the coals for it. I'm still upset about it. So,
and I'm not worried about it just because we've seen Quay on multiple clips now running vertical with the seams, and I am not worried about McDuffie sticking his nose in on the run at all. Like, so that's why I like it. In our nickel, let those two just eat.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so corners, they had Eric Stokes, Jair Alexander, and Keyshawn Nixon was in the slot. They had Bullard and X out there playing safety. So anything you guys want to add to that? Also, he said Andy Herman tweeted out, Hopper out with an injured ankle today, Elton rest day, Reed back practicing, Watson practicing as well. Obviously, that little scare they had yesterday with the knee bang or whatever, the bruise there. But, Jacob, what do you think about those DBs? I'll tell you, man, I want Evan Williams on the freaking field, man. And I know we're 2.5 weeks into camp, and I'm over here gushing over a rookie that hasn't played a single damn NFL snap, but Evan Williams seems like a real deal.
Yeah. I watched another interview of his today as well, and he is just so even well-spoken. He's articulate. You can tell he's very smart. He thinks about what he's going to say before he just blurts it out. I want to see him on the field as well. So I was going to say before you even mentioned him that I just don't feel like that our best 5 in the secondary consists of Nixon as one of them. And, I could be wrong, and Nixon I hope that he proves me wrong, and that he comes out this year and he really shows that that's why we paid him some extra money. Hopefully he's great in the return game. But if I had my druthers, I think that I would move Bullard to the slot, get Williams and X at the safety positions, and let Jair and Stokes hold down the cornerbacks. Yeah. I think that would just be we've talked about it on the offensive line. I want my best 5, whether it's the linebackers, I want the best 3, DBs, I want the best 5 or whatever best group is out there. So
yeah, completely agree. All right, let's go to the chat real quick. Omer earlier said Packers are up to 16 INTs in 12 camp practices.
I thought it was
6
more.
against Jordan Love. They had at least 2 today, and 1 was on Love for sure. So
I think that's the total for the team sessions, and then the one that I heard was for like just all around.
Got it. Omer said only Sean Ryan off the bench. The rookies not done well, but Monk got all the snaps today. Ryan removed after a penalty, and Monk played the rest of the day. Glover still with the 3. So what it was Sean Ryan had a false start. We'll probably get to it with the updates here in a second. He had a false start, and the rule in LaFleur's practice is if you get a false start, a penalty like that, you come out of the freaking lineup. And they put Jacob Monk in there, and if I remember correctly, I think Jacob Monk held his own against it was either Kenny or Devontae. So
I mean, that's the truth, though. You ever ran sprints? Did you ever run the pyramid? I mean, like 5, you go 5 back, 10 back, 15 back. I mean, one dude false starts on the 40, dude. You got to start from the beginning. You're telling me you're not screaming at that dude down the line, right?
Right. I was a baseball player. I wasn't an athlete. We had foul poles and lunges and everything, but we didn't want to over exude yourself. You know what I'm saying? Got to have enough energy to chew the big league chew in the dugout.
Yeah, right.
We called those gutters, Emilio. 5 and back, 10 and back, 15 and back, 20 and back.
That's what
Eric
you call
Sutherland. I know Eric Sutherland's going to have a damn comment about gutters, and I'm just waiting for it now. Thank you, Jacob. We appreciate you as always, sir.
That's a good name for him.
Eric Sutherland did say McDuffie is my favorite linebacker on the roster. I try not to go like, hey, I like this player better than that player. I just go strictly off, here's who I think performed better. I think it was hands down McDuffie was the best linebacker last year. Jeff Silkey in the chat says McDuffie is quick to react. That's definitely his strength. There's no hesitation. Now, there was a couple of times he got burned because he was quick to react. And I remember specifically a running back bouncing outside. He didn't stay on the outside shoulder, so he allowed the running back to get outside to contain. But, I mean, I would rather people make mistakes like that than to sit on your heels, you know?
And, yeah, make them 100%. I mean, if you fly by them but you miss the hole, all right, we can adjust that. If you're timid and sitting on your heels, that's a problem.
Yeah. And Eric Sutherland said, I told you guys Evan Williams was a guy. Man, to me, he looked like just a tackling machine. He looked like one of those those niche players like, hey, you want to throw a spy on the quarterback this game? Let's put him in a big nickel. But, man, he has proven me wrong in camp. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, he's not just a human meat missile. He's a well-rounded human meat missile.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
All right. So let's move along here. Let's go rapid fire. Also rotating with the ones. This is worth mentioning. Other players rotating in with the ones was Dontavian Wicks, Christian Watson, Kingsley Enagbare, Eric Wilson, Devontae Wyatt, Lucas Van Ness, AJJ. We got Evan Williams, Carl Brooks, Ben Sims, Luke Musgrave, AJ Dillon, and Andre Dillard. Everyone else was with the 2. So you're starting to see when you get a couple weeks into camp, those guys that are sticking with the ones and everyone else kind of filters out a little bit. You can see who's really competing for that starting time. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be in the lineup every time they're healthy. There's going to be different sets that are specialized for each individual player. When they're in 12 personnel, they're going to like to go with these 2 receivers. When they're in 11 personnel, they're going to like to go with these 3 as opposed to maybe one or both of those receivers they like in a 12 personnel. There's going to be a lot of different ways they're going to attack that. So let's go rapid fire here. Start a team. Andy Herman tweeted out, defense stuffs Jacobs. Love fires incomplete downfield to Musgrave. who was well covered, ball overthrown as well. Jacobs was stuffed on the next play as well. Love and Dobbs on a deep crosser, but Love just missed him wide. Good start for the defense. So Musgrave, are we concerned with Musgrave at all yet, fellas? Because to me, it seems like Musgrave's had kind of a slow start. Am I being too critical there?
I am on board saying I think Tucker Kraft, I mentioned this the other night, I think he's going to end up being the better tight end. Just more well-rounded, more well-versed. His blocking is way better. I think his hands, I think, are better. I don't think he's quite as fast and maybe as crisp of a route runner, but I think he's going to overcome that. I'm a little bit nervous because even though Musgrave showed spurts, the dude just does not seem to be able to really put together running the route, turning around, grabbing the ball, moving upfield fluidly.
Musgrave stayed on his feet.
That's all you need to hear, right, Jacob?
That it does look like a little bit of that clunkiness is kind of carried into the offseason and into the training camp here. So I hope that he works through that and he develops into a well-rounded tight end. Like Respect Orange just says, he loves well-rounded tight ends.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
I wouldn't say that I'm nervous at all. Dude, what have we been saying? It takes 2-3 years for a tight end to take off. If we got lucky that Tucker Kraft blew up the way he did, and Musgrave isn't. I mean, Musgrave is more of a receiver anyway, so I would be fine with him working back towards his blocking. And then if he excels as a receiver, let's be a big 11 or let's be a really fast 12 personnel or something like that, just so that we can get a matchup, mismatch and just be good at what you're good at. And then do your 1/11th of whatever that is, and then we'll come back. We'll work on the blocking throughout the season into next year. But I think I'm not worried about it.
Seems like everybody in the chat agrees, so they're not worried. So that's good. Good deal. I'm like I said, I'm probably just being a little too cautious there. Andy Herman tweeted out, Jacob Brenton Cox stacking success after a nice day today or yesterday. He starts with a tackle for a loss today. He's doing a really nice job of setting the edge. Carl Brooks follows it up with an easy pressure inside. Clifford got it out quick to Davis, but might have been a sack. So Brenton Cox Jr., he's that guy, Jacob, that's continuing to just string days together, man.
Yeah, Cox is rising to the occasion.
Who did that sound drop? That was mine. All right, next, LVN and Brooks. So we just talked about this, right? Carl Brooks follows it up with an easy pressure inside. Probably would have been a sack. LVN and Brooks all over a Lloyd run in the backfield, defense dominating up front. So you're starting to see Carl Brooks come alive in camp. Really exciting there. Have we heard anything from Carl Brooks, or did Kenny say anything by chance, Emilio? Did he mention Carl Brooks at all when he was talking about, Kenny Clark was talking about how he's excited about the defense? Did he mention him by name?
I don't remember him mentioning him by name. I think he's just excited for all the young guys to get out there because they've made progress, coming off their one rookie year, but then actually having a full off season. My question was, maybe I misheard it, but I'm pretty sure Wes was saying that Carl Brooks lined up on the front line for a kick return, like a blocker. And I was like, dude, now we're talking. You piqued my interest. What the dude is that much, but they were saying, he's just not he doesn't have the look like if you pass him on the street of a defensive tackle in the NFL sort of thing. Or whatever the body type or whatever they were saying. But the fact that he has the athletic ability to be out there on teams on a kickoff return, let's go. And we have a lot of athletes on this team, man, and it's just time for them to go play a game.
Definitely. Andy Herman tweeted out, Love with a gorgeous throw to Melton in the back of the end zone for a touchdown in red zone. Really nice block by Newman on Clark to give 10 times. So there you go. You got Royce Newman stonewalling Kenny Clark a touch. Eric Stokes come up with a pick on the next play intended for Watson. Not sure if Watson didn't see it, but he didn't make a play for the ball. Carl Brooks with another big-time pressure. There's Carl Brooks again. Yes. Wicks touchdown on the next play at the goal line with McKinney in coverage. So there you got Dontavian Wicks beating McKinney in coverage. And then Carl Brooks with another intermediate pressure. Love throws to Sims, but LVN in coverage gets a PI call. Huge day for Brooks already. Lucas Van Ness in coverage. Damn you, Joe Barry. Joe Barry's back in the building. What are we going to do? Fire Jeff Hafley right now, please. Someone.
Jeez.
No.
Wow. Chad is inappropriate tonight, I tell you what.
So I think we just need to rotate LVN up there with Hafley and just let him work on a couple of those, punch and release sort of techniques, plant your foot. But yeah, why not drop him back in a little hook curl coverage right there?
So he's tall, right? Tall and lanky. That's what you're looking for. So Andy Herman says another nice play by Brenton Cox with the pressure on Clifford. Jacob. See, if you stay out of the chat, you could be gloating over your boy right now.
Hey, I'm in the chat for good reason. Coach Len says, did y'all see Cox is playing on the interior? Also, good versatility. To which Jake says Cox is inside.
Just the tip, though.
All right. Emilio, you're out of control, sir. I'm blaming you for that one. Okay. Anyway, nice hands by Lloyd to come up with a leaping catch on a bubble screen, but defense all over it. Heads up. I got really excited about this. Heads up play by Bo Melton. He was supposed to go in motion, but the tight end started to go in motion on accident. Tight end got lined up correctly, so Bo could go in motion, but Bo wisely waves it off because the play clock was winding down, and they wouldn't have got the play off in time. Wicks end around goes nowhere. But that whole heads-up play by Bo Melton, he's one of the fastest guys in the league. I mean, I don't want to say he's got Christian Watson speed, but he's definitely, I feel comfortable saying he's the second fastest receiver we've got on the roster in Bo Melton, right? The fact that he's picking up on stuff like that and just understanding the game at a little bit different level, mentally is absolutely huge. And he knows where the limits are, man, when you're running out of time.
Cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them, though.
Me too.
You got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them.
That's true.
Shop towels, right, Emilio?
But yeah, that is the truth. But I am happy that he's got that, the smarts to realize that, one, not do a double motion, or, you got to be set and no illegal formation. I know we've had a couple of those calls, throughout camp. So you just got to be smart. You got to use your head. I know you're tired and all that, but yeah, that's good to see.
Yeah. All right. Andy Herman tweeted out that false start on the first play of team earlier by Sean Ryan was costly. Jacob Monk has been in his spot in team ever since. So that's what we were talking about there. Here we go. Andy Herman says, Love drops one in the bucket for Lloyd, but it's well contested by McDuffie. Both players tip the ball up a couple times, and Lloyd comes up with the catch, but out of bounds by the time he came up with it. So there you're seeing Isaiah McDuffie covering, shifty running back Marshawn Lloyd. McDuffie, I'm telling you, man, I think he's winning that spot. I think he's going to win it. Next, Andy Herman said, pressure by Enigbare, maybe a sack. Love throws anyway and completes the Wicks over the middle. There's Wicks again. Love follows it up with a bullet to Musgrave over the middle, who makes a fantastic hands catch in stride. AJJ with good coverage, but just tip your cap on that one. So there you're seeing Musgrave with a nice grab, and then obviously Enigbare starting to return back to form. I'm assuming that hamstring is good to go now. Now, this was a scary moment here, guys. Matt Schneidman tweeted this out. Jordan Love appears to be walking gingerly after getting knocked to the ground during 11-on-11. Head trainer Brian Engel playing with his left knee. Not his left knee, but Jordan Love's left knee. He didn't want to start playing with his own knee. You know what I'm saying? Love was grabbing the back of his left leg. Appears to be very minor. I repeat, appears to be all caps, very minor. So you could tell Matt Schneidman was scared to death that people were going to come at him on Twitter. I've got a video here of this is Jordan Love. Matt Schneidman ended up tweeting this out and said, as I said, appeared very minor to Love's left leg. Here he is jogging after practice. So let's just take a quick look here and see if he looks all right. No limp at all there, right? So we're good to go. So just precautionary. One thing I've noticed about Jordan Love and the way he plays and bounces around in the pocket, Brett was really good. Brett Favre was really good at firing that pigskin and then recoiling back. You notice how he would always do that? He would hung that tater and rock back and absorb the hit. Aaron was great at dancing in the pocket and not doing it in a dangerous way and being able to avoid a lot of that contact. It feels like Jordan's got a little bit of that too. So I don't know, man. I don't worry about Jordan's health. To me, he seems like he's in great shape and he's able to avoid those huge hits unless he's, like he said, against the Saints. I think it was the Saints. Felt like we needed some – no, it was against the Falcons. We needed some juice, so he lowered his head into two defenders, right?
Yep.
So you guys, obviously nothing to worry about here, but any thoughts on what we covered so far? Then we'll get into the kicking battle and wrap this big bear up.
That's my quarterback.
That's my quarterback.
We don't have that one anymore either.
I know. That's why I had to reenact it.
I know.
I know. But you tell.
You stole that from us.
Kicking battle. Here's the update. Joseph today went 3 for 3. This is when I pulled these. There may be updated numbers. I'm not sure. I'll double check here in a second as you guys give your parting thoughts. But Joseph goes 3 for 3. Carlson goes 3 for 3. Totals for camp. Greg Joseph, 44 of 51 for 86.3%. Alex Hale, 5 for 6 for 83.3%. And then Anders Carlson, 41 of 51 for 80.4%. My question to you guys is, I'll go make sure there wasn't another update here, but what kind of a lead does Greg Joseph have to have as far as percentage-wise for you to go, all right, we need to go with Greg Joseph over Anders?
Honestly, don't think it even matters. I don't think the percentage is even going to matter. I think it's going to be how he handles the 3 games moving forward, and if they think that they can keep him on track throughout the year. We've already done it for a year. I really don't think Greg Joseph, even if he was at 99%, Carlson would have to be in like the 50s or the 60s for them to make a jump.
You agree with that, Jacob?
Yeah, I do. Just because, again, it wasn't a very high draft pick, but we spent a draft pick. We know that Goody does not willingly like to get rid of those guys. And to be honest, Anders Carlson has shown massive leaps and bounds from where he was in camp last year. And again, we've talked about it. He wasn't that bad last year. He was better than Mason Crosby's original rookie year, better than a lot of other quarterbacks. I believe it was even like Lonwell and Vinatieri or something like that. Was what's up? What do you got, Emilio?
No, that was Wes was talking about it. He was saying that when he was covering the team, that Mason Crosby had like the worst preseason game or whatever, or off season leading up to it. He missed like all of the kicks, and then like the last 2 preseason games, he squared it away and was golden from then on out. So like even if you do have a terrible game, if you straighten it up, the most important thing is the next kick, right? It's not, you can't keep looking back on all the numbers. It's never going to help you. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's just.
AFAM said, call Giorgio Tavecchio. He said, please call him. You guys remember when Mike McCarthy called him Sergio? He didn't even know his damn name. He didn't know the kicker's name. And that was one of the big knocks too, was Ted Thompson was signing people and not even talking to Coach McCarthy about it. It's like, I can't even keep up with their names. Ted's just rolling people through the locker room. It's just hilarious. I don't know, man. It always tickles me when I hear that story.
Yeah, Matt said, he was like, yeah, well, we had a good workout with him. We thought we'd bring him in just to up the competition. I mean, if you don't have, 2 other, if you got a manager of a job and you got 2 other managers they bring in, you're going to try to up your ante. So,
yeah. So, so here are the updated numbers. This tweet came out later as practice wrapped up. Andy Herman said Joseph goes 3 for 3, 6 for 6 on the day. Carlson goes 3 for 3, 6 of 6 on the day. Total for camp now, Greg Joseph, 47 of 54 for 87%. Alex Hale, 5 for 6 for 83.1%. Anders Carlson, 44 of 54 for 81.5%. So I'm pretty sure both Greg Joseph and Anders Carlson raised their numbers just a touch, but he has a 5.5% lead over.
But that's what I'm saying. We were talking 3 days ago, and it was 86 or whatever, 85 for Greg and like 76 for Anders, and we were all worried because he was under 80%, 10% difference. You make a couple of kicks, it's over. I mean, if they're both in the 80s, Anders is staying. If they're both in the 70s, Anders is staying, definitely.
Yeah, for me, it's like once you get over a 5-kick lead, if they're both kicking from similar distances, that's when I start to go, okay, I can no longer defend the whole, what are we talking about? Anders is the kicker. Like, if it costs you 1 field goal, during the season, and you could tell me ahead of time, hey, look, this guy's going to kick 1 more field goal for you than this other cat, accuracy-wise, I don't care what their damn name is. I want the better kicker out there, period.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, when the lights come on, is Greg Joseph going to continue to kick at 87%? I'm going to comb through the stats real quick, Jacob. Get your parting thoughts. I want to see who led in field goal percentage last year and how close it was to 87%. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys mentioned Alex Hale as well. Another, I don't want to say he's a camp kicker, but it is definitely probably a camp kicker, which again, it's a little bit interesting that from last year we went with no competition to this year they've had now 4 or 5 different kickers at one point.
Right.
He went 5 for 6, and what's funny too is he went to Oklahoma State College, and he is from Australia. Good eye, mate.
Very nice.
Solid, man. That was solid.
I can't remember which podcast it was. I think it was Michael Lombardi talking, but they were talking about how the Chiefs paid Bucker, right, to kick because he's a clutch kicker. I mean, we need a clutch kicker, right? They paid him a bunch of money to come in and bring points to this team. So Anders knows what he has to do. It's just, I think these mind tests against competition, picking up notes from Greg Joseph, all these different things are definitely going to help him.
Yeah. Now, these are the kicker percentages from last season.
Wow.
With the exception of there was like 4 or 5 guys that were at 100%. One had 4 kicks. The others all have 1. So we'll just throw those out, right? Very small sample size. Nick Folk's field goal percentage, 96.7. Fairbairn, I hope I'm saying that right, for the Texans, 96.4. Brandon Aubrey, 94.7. Harrison Butker just got his new contract, 94.3. Cameron Dicker.
Dicker, I hardly knew her.
93.9. Jake Elliott, 93.8. Chris Boswell, 93.6. Chase McLaughlin, 93.6. Cairo Santos, 92.1. Greg Zerline, 92.1. Dustin Hopkins, 91.7. Raleigh Patterson, 88.9. Will Lutz, 88.2. And Daniel Carlson, 86.7. So Anders' brother Daniel was at 86.7. So I say that because if we were to flash those up one more time here, right now Greg Joseph is sitting at 87% in camp. So that would have put him as the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 13th best kicker in the league if he kicked that field goal percentage last year. So what does that mean? Absolutely nothing. But I just thought cross-check it real quick. So can't believe we went over talking kickers. Unbelievable.
Tim would be happy.
I was just going to say,
Tim would not be
the
happy.
only thing Chad Inc. said today was we need to get Tim cleated back.
Tim out there, son. Getting the bloody piss out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before.
So obviously tomorrow, no practice, and then Saturday we've got the preseason game, 3:25 Central kickoff in Cleveland. Really excited about that. We're going to try to do a pregame show on Saturday. We may do 3 shows Saturday. We may do a morning show, a pregame show, and a postgame show. We're definitely doing a postgame show, though. There's a chance we don't do a show tomorrow night, but we'll keep you guys and gals posted on that. Anything else you guys want to hit on?
Let me just ask you: isn't this just the open practices, or do they have other ones?
No one can answer that question for me, Emilio.
Okay, because I could have swore I heard Larry talking about how this is like their 14th practice or something like that.
Well, look at today. Look at the schedule. It shows no practice today, right? Well, they practiced today. It was just closed to the public. So
yeah, that's
I
what
don't know. I don't know if anyone truly knows the complete practice schedule. I could be wrong. I haven't seen it posted.
Yeah, right. All right. That's my bad. I just was wondering.
No, it's a great question. I've been wondering the same thing because I look up and I'm like last night I said no practice tomorrow, right? And then all of a sudden we get flooded with practice camp news. So go ahead, Jacob. What are you laughing at there, bub?
Can't read it. So
all right, what else you got then?
Nothing. I'm just excited. Like we talked about, we got tomorrow and then it's game day, bro. And it's a 3:25 game day. Oh, that's so great. Do you by chance know where it's going to be televised, if anywhere, or?
I know it's going to be on.
I thought it was on Fox.
I know it's going to be on the NFL app. You know, me being in Tennessee, I always get NFL Plus, and you get all the preseason games. So,
word? Perfect.
You should be good. Like right now, both of these games are on NFL Plus. And the app for the TCL TVs, unbelievable. NFL app for TCL. Whatever your smart TV is, I'm sure it's the same app. But I don't know. He might have an 87 Magnavox over there, Jacob. You think? You got the bunny ears on it and everything.
No. Jacob's got that big HD TV that's a whole stand that's all together and takes 3 people to move it.
Yeah.
All right, we're out of here. Appreciate y'all. It's a lot of fun. Y'all make it so difficult, I swear. This is your fault, Jacob. You come in here wearing these damn shirts, and you do this all the time.
65%.
65%. That's what
65% of the time Jacob does this.
Yes. 65% of the time, Jacob wears those shirts to the bar every time.
Dude, I forgot to send you over a clip. It was the anniversary of a guy named, it was like Jack Carter or something. It was the best arrest video you'll ever see it in your life. I don't know if you guys saw it. He's an old man and he talks like this. And he's getting arrested and he goes, "Sir, get your hands off my penis." And then he's like, "I'm being arrested for what charge? The charge of enjoying a succulent Chinese meal." And he's getting pushed away.
Ryan Schlip actually tweeted it out. I'm going to go grab it right now. I've got it. Hold on a second. Give me a second.
So good. And it's a real thing. It's not staged. And then the best line is there's a guy, they're about to shove him in a car and he goes, "You, sir, are you about to receive my limp?" Remember?
You can't play it.
Oh, you got to play it.
Can he?
Should we play it or not?
Yes.
Yes.
If you got children in the room, children in the car, go ahead and skip it. You probably skipped ahead 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, you probably should have.
Yeah. So here we go. I'm blaming Ryan Schlip for this, okay? He tweeted it out, or else my mom wouldn't have been polluted with it. But is this the one, Jacob?
Oh, that's it. Jack Carlson,
Here we go.
baby.
Here we go. Enjoy.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at the headlock here. See that?
That's how Jacob's going down right there.
Oh, man.
So, all right.
Oh,
there you have
he said, "How dare you? Get off your hands off me."
I know there's somebody right now mad going, "What does this have to do with Packers?"
Everything.
Absolutely nothing. Jacob said everything. All right. We'll leave you with that. Thank you all. Eric Sutherland, I've been there. We know you have, Eric. We know you have. Oh, yeah. The other thing, I don't know if it's filled up yet or not, but you can scan this QR code. It won't work. It just still looks cool.
Yeah.
Go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access, one word. And we're going to be cranking up a fantasy football league here soon. It's going to be ran none other by our very own Carly Ray. And anyone who's a member of one of the 3 tiers there in our Patreon group, you're going to be able to, it's kind of first come, first serve to sign up. We already got the link in the Patreon group, so hop in there quick. And we're going to be doing a fantasy league. Also, we're going to be giving away a copy of Take Your Eye Off the Ball 2.0 by Pat Kerwin during the postgame show Saturday night after the Cleveland Browns Green Bay Packers game. That was donated by United Bates. We appreciate him donating it to the show. So that's it. We're out. Appreciate everybody. For those who listen on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be succulent Chinese meal. What in the world? Jacob, this is your fault.
No.
Anyway, just go.
He said, "I know."
We said it before. Just do what you want to do. Bye.